Alright, welcome to the second part of this tutorial on modeling in Animation Master. In this tutorial we are going to create a very simple object using all the things that we've learned in the previous modeling tutorial. And what we're going to create is a torso with an arm coming out of it. And not very detailed, very simple, but it will use everything that we've learned so far. So what we're going to do first is go up to Project and select New. Go into Objects, right click on it, say New Model. It gives me this blank screen, or this brand new model with nothing in it. So what I'm going to first want to do is create a profile curve that will be my torso. So I hit A, and then I go over here and I click, and then right click to stop. So now I've got this profile curve. Then what I'm going to do is select one of the CPs and go up here to the button that says Lathe, or you can hit L and hit Lathe. So now you can see, I'm going to go in shaded mode, I've got this object right here. I'm going to go back into my side view by hitting 6 on the numpad, select the whole thing, then select S and scale it in the Z direction. So it's a little more shaped like this. So what I'm going to do now is I need to attach an arm in here. By doing so, I just want to create a tube that I can extrude out. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the area that I want to do it in. Which will be right here. I'm going to go right here, and I want to break, or I want to subdivide each of these splines into two. So I select this side of the spline and hit Y, this one hit Y, this one hit Y, and this one hit Y. Now you can see I've got these 4 points here. Just so I don't see the back, these other splines in the back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my front view, go into my wireframe mode by hitting 8 on the key, on the keyboard, and then I'm going to select these and hit K to break them. So select it over again, hit K. Now it may look like I'm only selecting when I hit K and nothing happens, but what is actually happening is you've got a spline directly behind it. So you click off of it, click it again, hit K. So I'm going to go down to this one, down to this one. Okay. So now I've separated this side, so I'm going to select it and hit delete. That way when I go over here to work on my arm in shaded mode, you can see I don't have all that stuff behind me. So now that I've got that taken care of, what I want to do is I want to connect these 4 points. So I hit A, and then I click here, click here, click here, and click here, and then back on here, and that will connect them all. And you can see I've got this circle here. So first what I want to do is I want to get rid of this inside here before I create 5-point patches. So what I'm going to do is go into my wireframe mode by hitting 8, select this spline here and hit K to delete it. Now this side is still there, so you just want to hit delete. Do the same thing here, K, and then delete. So now I've got this hole here that I can use for my arm. Now I want to, if I look at this, I can see that the way the directions, or the way the biases are going, I can do one of two things. I can select it and I can play with the bias to make it a little wider here, a little wider here, like this. But I don't like to do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to add some points in so that I have a spline going across here. So I'm just going to select this spline, hit Y, Y, and Y. And then add this, this, and this. Right click to end the patch, or end the spline. And do the same thing here, Y, Y, and Y. And I'm going to connect those, right click. Do the same thing here, Y, Y, and Y. This. And then here, same thing, Y, Y, and Y. Now, one thing I've done here is I've created the ability for me now, if I go into my side view by hitting 6, I can now kind of round out this shape here. Start to go like this. You can see how it's kind of rounded out now. Now it's not so much of a diamond shape, but it's more rounded out. Now, one way that I can change this if I want to is, say I don't want this spline going this direction, I want it going down. Well, I can take these and just delete them. And I'll take these two and delete them. And then I'll go Y, Y, and then don't do anything here, but just go like this to here, and then click out here and then right click and it does nothing. Now I talked about hooks in the previous lesson, and if you grab this and drag it over the top of this, and while you're still holding the left mouse button down, you right click, it will hook it on here. So I'm going to do that here too. Here to here to here, right click, grab it again, and then drag it over and right click. Now it hooked it off. Now if you look at it, right here and right here, it's hooked into the geometry right below it without having to create a high resolution mesh. I got rid of those extra splines up here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create these 5-point patches. So I'll select those, hit the create button, select these, hit the create 5-point patch, and then hit F to flip it if it doesn't show up. Click these, or select those, create it, and select these and create it. So now what I've got is this good hole so that I can shape my arm out of it. Now I'm just going to do generic shapes, and then later on I'll push and pull the points to make them look more like an arm. So now I'm going to go into my front view, go into my wireframe mode, and you can see here how I've got this hole for my arm. Well, I'm going to select all those and hit E to extrude. Now I'm going to hold down the 1 because I want to move them in the X axis. So I'm going to hold down 1 and drag, click and drag. And you can see what that does there. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do it one more time. So I'm going to select this spline here, hit E, and then hold down 1 and drag it out. Do it again, drag it out. This will be my elbow. Do it again, drag it out, forearm, and then do it again and drag it out to my wrist. Okay, so you can see it doesn't look like an arm right now, so I'm just going to start kind of moving these points so that it looks a little bit more like an arm. This is going to be my elbow, so I'm going to kind of scrunch it in here. This will go out, this one will kind of come down. This will be my shoulder. It won't be that great of a shoulder, but we'll make do with what we've got. These will come up like this. And these, what I'm going to actually do is hit S, select them, hit S, and then scale them down to almost 0. And then when I select them, I can hit N, and then move them back this way. Same with these. I want to scale these down so that they're pretty much flat. That. And that. Okay. So now here's my underside of my bicep right here. I'm going to squish these up here because this is my elbow. This is my forearm. I'm going to scoot these back actually just a little bit here, and then shrink them down just slightly. And this is my wrist, and I want to shrink it down and move it up just slightly. So I'm going to get over it, select 2, and then I'm going to do this. So now you can see from the front it's kind of looking like more like an arm. Create a shoulder here. Now, like I said, this is very generic, very simple. So we'll have to kind of make do with what we've got. But now if I go into my shaded mode, you can see here, you can start to look at what your arm looks like. I'm actually going to go into hit 5 on my numpad, so I go into the top, go into my wireframe mode, and then just start kind of finessing or adjusting some of these points so that they look better. This is my elbow. I want to scale it, so I hit S, and then I select the Z axis only, so I drag that down a bit. And then, once that's done, I go into my shaded mode so I can see. Whoa, undo that. You can see here I'm going to hit page down a couple times so it's not so heavy. But you can see here kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to move these out here. This is my shoulder muscle. So I'm kind of shape these the way I want them. Okay, so I'm just going to keep shaping these here. Maybe put an armpit in here. Move this one up a bit. Maybe move these out just so we get a little smoother definition. I don't care if it looks perfect. In fact, the way I've built it won't really allow it to look perfect, but we'll see how we can do with what we've got. I want to kind of flatten those out. Move this in here. These in here. tricep back here. This back like this. So now I've got kind of the shape of an arm. And like I said, it's a pretty nasty, horrible shape, but it'll do for now to show an example. But anyways, I've got this arm shape coming out of the torso, and you can see how by running your splines in continuous lines, you can get nice smooth surfaces. To create, you can play with bias. You can peak these like I talked about before. Say I want a nice fold right here, I can select that one, and then I can hit peak. Select this one, and then I can hit the P on the keyboard, and it'll do that. Now you can see I've got this nice sharp edge. Or I can go back to smooth by hitting O. So that's it. That's how you add appendages to a body in any situation. It's pretty much as simple as that. And once you get the hang of that, you can put pretty much anything on everything. You can put antennas on a creature. You can put a nose on a face. You can put a mouth in a face. You can put fingers on a hand. You can do anything doing this way. So that's pretty much how you do a simple object by using everything that we've learned so far.